Hi guys and gals, welcome to Wasted Lunch, the perfect place to waste your lunch. I'm Paul McVeigh, your host for this time to hop on here and spend some time talking, jaw-jacking, BSing, and, wasting your lunchtime. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Wow, did you guys ever have one of those days that was so busy that you had so much to do within such a small time frame, okay, that at the beginning of the day you looked at all the things you had to accomplish that day, all the tasks and things, and you looked at the timeline and you thought already ahead of time, this is damn near impossible. This is going to be almost impossible to pull off. Do you ever have one of those days and then the day happens and then you are trying to do everything and you do not write these things down, and by the end of it you are frustrated, upset, stressed out because in the middle of all of the turmoil that happened, that you knew was going to happen, you knew it was going to be stressful and frantic and just crazy, but you're frustrated at the end of the day because you ended up skipping X, Y, and Z things because you were busy doing the other things before that. What's up, Sean? Well, that's what happened to me yesterday. I had way too many things on my plate and way too short of a time span to try and pull off, and expected myself to pull off all these things, and in the middle of trying to do all these things back to back, I ended up skipping over a bunch of other things I was supposed to do. And I looked back at it and it was frustrating. I was not happy about it, and I'm like, the only way I possibly could have pulled all that stuff off is maybe if I would have wrote everything down. See, I try and write things down ahead of time when I know I've got a lot of things on my schedule. So that's what happened to me yesterday. It was a very frantic, busy Halloween. But one of the things that I did pull off yesterday successfully was getting the kids out trick-or-treating. That was a success. So I should be happy about that, but I ended up getting hung up on all the things I missed later on in the day. I got hung up on it and got frustrated, and so sometimes it's really easy to focus on the negatives and the I shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and why didn't I, and how did I forget that. It's easy to get hung up on those and let those things overshadow the good things that you do pull off. You know what I mean? So I need to sometimes take a break and give myself a little pat on the back for my accomplishments, no matter how small they are. I think probably everybody should do that, but I'm very guilty of not giving myself much credit. Sean says, I saw Paul didn't have his Ghostface costume on. No, he didn't last night. When we did Maslin's trick-or-treat, he wore his Ghostface costume. Although I didn't get a picture of him wearing his Ghostface mask. I just got a picture of him holding it. Last night when we did the Navarre one, and he just went with face paint. So, and that's what Helen went with, some vampire face paint. Paul was more, I don't know, at first he wanted to be some kind of mythical creature that somebody, I don't know, in Thailand or some country over in Asia claimed they had seen, and they had built a model of this creature, that looked like nothing ever known to exist, and he wanted to be this creature with like blue hair and horns. So I started painting his face blue, and then it kind of changed from there. Then he saw the fake blood on the table, and he's like, I want some of that. I I want fake blood. So the whole mythical creature thing went out the window, and he became more like a creepy ghoul, almost zombie, or I don't know what the heck you want to call it, but that's what ended up happening for his makeup. And then one of my daughters went as, I don't know, I thought she was supposed to be a zombie fighter, but no, she just says she was just some kind of fighter that fights evil, because she had like a gas mask thing on. And then again, Hallie, of course, was a vampire, you know, her favorite monster of all time. Sean says, Asia urban legends are creepy as hell, man. Some of those make American legends look like fairy tales. Yeah, there are some pretty wacky characters and legends and myths out of Asia. And they're cool because when you read about them or see a film about them from a Westerner's point of view, from our eyes, it's a whole different brand of flavor, isn't it, than a lot of the things we grew up hearing about and reading about, because, you know, a lot of the stories that we've grown up with and heard about were from, you know, Western Europe, a lot of them. So we've grown used to them, and of course there are American legends too, you know, but yeah, there are some pretty funky stories to come out of the East. So I'm always excited to watch movies about that, watch movies about monsters from all different cultures, and that's I didn't finish a film, okay. I started watching, I might pronounce it wrong, I think it's called Gantz O, or maybe it's Gantz O, okay, and maybe that's a zero, not an O. It's on Netflix, and these people fight monsters. They're running around in Osaka, Japan, I believe is the name of the city, and fighting monsters. And that was pretty damn interesting. I can't remember why I quit watching. I think it was really late. And I had to get some sleep. I think that's what the deal was on that. But it was pretty interesting because these monsters are running amok, and they are just all kinds of monsters, all kinds of different shapes and sizes, just running through the streets, and they're tearing up people and, you know, like killing them, eating them, or whatever the hell they're doing. They're just all over, and there's all kinds of them. I mean, dozens, hundreds of them. And like I said, they are all different styles of monsters. Some might look like birds. Another one was just a giant head with a beard that was like bouncing around and smashing people. Other ones are more snake-like. Other ones are, you know, look like anthropomorphic potatoes, for crying out loud. But the variety of monsters is so interesting in that movie. So that, like I said, it's Gantzo, or maybe it's a zero. I'm not sure, but that's on Netflix, and I need to get back to that movie and finish the rest of it because it was really good, really good. So, yeah, there's a movie I have to finish. Maybe I should have watched that last night. But for last night, Halloween night itself, went back old school. Now, I talked about how one of the traditional Halloween time movies for my wife's family was The Fog. We ended up watching The Fog. So we watched that, and then we watched the original Halloween. What's up, Russ? Feel free to hop on here, dude. Sean says, Halloween is over. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But, you know, for a guy like me, the Halloween season never truly ends as far as the scary movies, monster stuff, always like that. But yeah, watch the original Halloween. That was fun. And The Fog. How about you, Sean? Did you catch up? Did you end up seeing any good flicks? Oh, Jessica's on here. What's happening? How we doing, kid? That's my cousin there. Oh. Just talking about movies we watched on Halloween time. Yeah, what's the original Fog and the original Halloween movie? How about you guys? Did you watch any good flicks yesterday? I mean, you know what I did. I ended up trick-or-treating, which I went live just for a couple seconds to kind of show off these werewolf animatronic that these people had in front of their house. That was pretty cool. And showed the kids in their makeup. So I went on just for a few seconds there. I don't know if you caught that one or not, but I had to get a little bit of trick-or-treating in there, just preserve it for posterity. Let's see. Sean says, can we still look for the melon heads even though October is over? Of course. Any month is melon head month. It's just going to get colder, that's all. And I'll tell you what, this tail end of October, I don't know what November is going to be like. Of course, today, here in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, where I live, it of course is sogulated and rainy, but, which of course you live there too, Sean. I'm just saying that for anybody else. I'm not around here. So maybe November will be a little bit more dry. Maybe. Sean, you're about to start college, and I'll tell you what, one of the big draws for going to college would have been for me when I was a younger man, would have been, and this is pre-internet everywhere days, would have been a library. That's what I would have been excited about, because you're going to go to a library and we're talking about monsters and shit, and I'm thinking, wow, there's so many cool books that you're going to have access to when you're going to college, But now there's the internet, and you can access that and read about damn near everything now, but still, books have their worth, I think. Sean says, if they start chomping at people, stick your arm out and give it a hug. Nothing like a big hug. Big hug for the melon heads. All little monsters need a hug. Yeah, mean dogs, they need hugs. Crocodiles, hug them. Grizzly bears, give them a hug. Yes. Sean, you are our hug-friendly friend. The serial hugger. That should be your name there. There should be your serial killer name. I'm the chocolate killer. You are the serial hugger. Maybe that's it. Wait, you're all ready to crawl, space boy, or whatever, though, too. So, but serial hugger sounds good. It does. My stomach just growled at me. I think it's mad because I only didn't eat too much today. Let's see. Yeah, I ended up getting on a little early. Hell, it's only 12:06 now, Oven Standard, and I've already been on for quite a few minutes. Hopped on here a little early today. I got tired of just sitting around. Uploaded a couple new videos, well, old videos from our Facebook Live. Uploaded those to the YouTube channel. And decided, hell, I'll go on live early and see what's shaking. But yeah, dude, yesterday was just totally frantic. Yesterday afternoon, early evening was frantic. It was just crazy. Crazy. Oh, I just got a thumbs up from somebody. Okay, Sean says the Crawl Space Maniac and Chocolate Killer have both been apprehended. Yes, they've caught us both. Well, we're here live, talking about it live. you know, we've been exposed. We've given ourselves up here. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined being called the chocolate killer, but alas, these things happen. But yeah, Sean, did you end up watching any flicks yesterday? Any movies? Get in any movie time? Like I said, I got those in. The Fog is, okay, Halloween is definitely a no-no for my younger kids. Okay, Sean says they got 6 months probation. That's not bad. That's not bad for being a maniac and a killer, is it? 6 months probation, that ain't too bad. I'll take that. Yeah, okay, Sean says I saw Pearl Harbor. Not a Halloween-y movie. Definitely would have been scary as hell, and a tale of horror especially, but not what I think of when I think of traditional Halloween movies. But Pearl Harbor, okay. I think I saw Pearl Harbor one time when it first came out. I really don't recall it too much. Is it Ben Affleck and Cuba Gooding Jr., I think? That I could be wrong there. I mean, we're talking, it's been several years since that flick came out, hasn't it? Several years. But yeah. Yeah, we got November here. Turkey month, huh? Thanksgiving. Let's see. Oh, okay. I just got an instant message from somebody. Okay. Sean says, yes, that's the one. Okay. Yeah. I remember it being a good flick and all. I don't have, my wife refers to her brain as a mental Rolodex. Okay, she'll sit there and say, I need to go through the mental Rolodex and retrieve information. I don't have that. I have a memory bucket, I think, and stuff just gets kind of slopped into the memory bucket, and then if it's already full of stuff, then the excess just dumps out over the side of the bucket onto the pavement and dries up in the sun. So I don't have a mental Rolodex like my wife. I wish I did. But you know what? Here's the problem that comes with that, though, with the whole picture perfect memory, is the problem that comes with that is also that you remember the bad along with the good, and my wife remembers the bad along with the good. Don't all wives. No offense, ladies. But that's one thing you got to put up with there. So I guess my memory bucket has its advantages in ways. My coffee maker just went off. And that means it's not going to keep the pot, the carafe, hot. So I got to go push that button there. There we go. All right. Oh, man. What's the big excitement today? I'll tell you. I don't know what you're doing, but I have a set of box springs I've got to try and fix somehow. Yeah. That's on my agenda today. Try and fix some box springs. Kind of a weird fix. I've never done that before, so I'm going to be attempting that today. And what else? What else do I got? Oh, here's something exciting. You guys have been hearing about my problems with the washer. I've got a washer now. That I've got to get it hooked up, but I've got a washer. Yeah. Got a washer. It's a small one. It's not large capacity, but I have a washer now, so that's a plus, yes. Actually picked up a used washer dryer set. They're small, but they're supposed to work, so that's good. Yeah. Figured I'd throw that information out there. So if I'm not griping about the washer and dryer anymore, that is why. So I'm happy about that. How about you, Sean? Sean, what do you got to be happy for today? Why don't you share something you're happy about? Tell me about one of the blessings you got going on in your life, buddy. Like I said, today, got a washer and dryer. I'm happy about that. And coffee. Hot coffee is always a good pick-me-up. Got that going for me, too. So hot coffee and a washer and dryer is what makes the McVeister happy. And like I said, we did pull off the trick-or-treating. You know, the thing that stunk about the trick-or-treating, though, what was cool about it was it was dark out when we went it got dark when we were trick-or-treating. The problem was trick-or-treating in Navarre was only an hour. Okay. Sean, you're saying I'm happy that I'm no longer dizzy. What's that about, man? What do you mean dizzy? You've been dizzy? You got an ear infection or something? What's going on with you, dude? Share. Well, I'm happy you're no longer dizzy also. Good. That's a good thing. Yeah, dizzy. What's going on that you're dizzy, dude? I know, I have problems with equilibrium when I get one of those damn inner ear infections, or middle ear infections, or whatever the hell ear infections are called. Gotten those before, and those are wacky. I don't know if you've ever had those, but I've had them, and I've had them and they've affected me to the point where I was sitting still and felt like falling out of my chair, for crying out loud. Weird, but I've had that stuff happen to me. But yeah, what's going on that you're dizzy? Let's see. You said Sean says this morning when I got out of the shower, I got really dizzy. You weren't spinning in circles in the shower, were you? Just kind of like a, kind of 360 washing technique or something there. Just got out of there and your ass was dizzy, huh? Huh. Wonder what the hell that was all about. Well, I'm glad you're not dizzy anymore anyways. What is this? Bag of boxes. Bag of candy boxes. That's what that is. If you're all wondering. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe you got an ear infection or something. Let's see. Sean says, I have no idea what happened. Yeah, anytime I feel funky like that dizziness, like wanting to fall down and stuff, I immediately think of my ears because I've had a lot of ear infections. And that's one of the first things I think of is that. Okay. Unless, of course, my ass has been run around a circle or I rolled down a hill or something or got off a merry-go-round. Then I pretty much know what the cause is. But those ear infections will do that stuff to you, too. I mean, they will throw you for a loop. They'll have you feeling like you're walking sideways. No kidding. If you haven't had one of those, boy, that is an experience you don't want to have. I've been there, and they're not fun. So, yeah. But, and dealing with those ear infections, I learned through much trial and error and stubbornness that you feel some shit going wrong with that ear or something like that, best thing to do is get that shit taken care of before it gets worse. Like I said, I've had a problem because of being stubborn sometimes with not getting that stuff checked out and then waiting for it to get as horrible as possible. Okay, Sean says online it says hot showers can lower your blood pressure. Really? Never heard that one. Wonder if it's because it expands your your circulatory system, you know, your veins and uh, blood vessels and everything get larger. I wonder if that's why it lowers your blood pressure, because, you know, there's more room for your blood to flow through you. I'll bet that has something to do with that. I've never heard that, though. And, you know, I'm just hypothesizing there. I'm not sure. But never heard that one about the blood pressure thing. That's interesting. Poor cup. Poor mug. It's my keep calm and put the coffee on mug. Let's see. Sean says, I'm lucky I didn't faint, because that's what usually happens when this does. Okay, this is not a first time thing for you then. You've had this stuff happen before and your ass fainted from it? How hot of showers are you taking? Dang. I mean, do you have your shower set at magma or something? What the hell, man? What's going on with you? Jeez. You need to be careful with that shit, because, you know, that fainting stuff's bad. It's not the whole fact that you pass out, it's the falling down shit. That's where you get hurt. And then the falling isn't bad, it's the stopping. That's what's bad. You know, bathrooms are designed for disaster. You know what I mean? Everything gets slippery and wet, moist, and then there's all kinds of hard surfaces to get hurt on. Toilets, you know. Toilets are like big rocks. I think one of my kids busted their head on a toilet climbing up one when they were little. I can't remember which kid. Does that make me a bad parent? Hope not. Sean says, no, I'm saying people in general usually faint when this happens. But I have not. This was the first time I've ever been dizzy from a shower. Yeah, I've never been dizzy from a shower. I'll tell you what, I've smelled so bad before I took a shower, I was almost dizzy, though. Yeah, I never got dizzy from taking a shower. Now, I've gotten lightheaded sitting up fast. You know, I think everybody's gotten that. I think that does like the blood drops from your brain when you sit up real fast sometimes. I've had that stuff happen. But never the shower dizziness. You know, never heard that one before. I take a pretty hot shower too. But I haven't, knock on wood, I have not gotten dizzy from it. So that's good. I've been lucky there. But, yeah, now that you say it, now I'm going to be thinking about that shit while I'm taking a shower. Have some psychosomatic dizziness now when I take a shower. All because you brought that up now. That's not going to happen. But, anyways, what's happening? I got a pink lighter here. I don't even know where I got that damn pink lighter. Let's see, Sean says I could feel myself about to faint, so I just sat on the floor. Good move. Good move. Yeah, that's better than falling straight the hell over. And you're going to have to be careful with that. Maybe you want to cool it down a little bit there, buddy. Maybe you're taking too damn hot of a shower. Oh, man. Wow. Yeah, shower dizziness. Never heard of that one. Yeah, and here's the problem when you look stuff up online, too. It's easy. You know, you can look damn near anything up online and you're going to find it if you're looking for something. And if you get it from the wrong source, or if you are the type of person who kind of absorbs things, or what's the word, is more subjective to outside information, I guess you'd say. you can find yourself diagnosing yourself with all kinds of horrible ailments, diseases, and things like that. When you look online, um, I mean, so that's what gets me about looking online for stuff. When I'm not feeling good and looking up symptoms. I mean, you can find some horrible stuff, and if you're not careful, you can find yourself believing that you've got, 30 different ailments that are about to kill you within minutes. That's one of the troubles with the old internet. And of course, there's false information too. That's although I will say that there's been quite a few times when I have had some sort of health ailment, okay, and it had been diagnosed as to what it was, and by a doctor. So I've known what it was, and then I've gotten online, and then I've read other people's firsthand experiences. I have done quite a bit of that with things, I've looked it up on forums, people who have gone through similar things, and I think the reason I do that is because I like to see some people's ideas as to how they deal with certain things. And, I use common sense looking at it. Okay, does this person just seem like an idiot that's posting this shit? Has this person posted here before? Do they seem like a sensible person? And what they're suggesting, does it make sense? Is it dangerous? Sean's saying, luckily I looked on a medical site. I always try to make sure my sources are solid. Yeah, you got to. You got to, because there's so much horse shit out there. Whereas there are sites like Mayo Health Clinic and some of the big hospitals have websites where you can kind of look at stuff and kind of do some self-troubleshooting on to try and point you in the right direction. But the problem with a lot of things are, with so many ailments, is so many of them have similar symptoms. I mean, just like if you looked up flu-like symptoms, oh my gosh, all the shit that can be wrong with you besides the flu, the numbers are astronomical. I mean, just insane how many other ailments are flu-like, but in your situation, you can look up, I was taking a hot shower and my ass was dizzy, so that makes sense. Sean says, I try to stay away from .coms, good idea. Always try to shoot for .govs or .org. You know what, I think, Sean, what you're saying right there, I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb there. Which, of course, I'm not giving anybody medical advice. I mean, we're talking about medical advice, but I think that is a pretty good rule of thumb as far as what you're going to read and where you're going to look for stuff. I think you got it right there, the .govs or .org. That sounds, it makes sense. But, yeah, because you can get onto these holistic healing sites, and I am not going to knock holistic healing, okay? I have a very open mind when it comes to supplements and things like that, herbal remedies and things like that. I have a very open mind to that stuff because I know that the doctors and the medical community does not, they don't have everything figured out. And that's why they call it practicing medicine, because that's what they're doing. They don't have all the answers. And sometimes, I've known some people who have went with alternative medicine for some major shit, okay, and have had some good results. So that's helped me to keep an open mind towards some of that stuff. But then again, I know there's probably a lot of that herbal stuff that's BS too, you know. So, you know, that's the herbal supplements and things are not regulated. They're not FDA approved. So people can put out all kinds of garbage also. So once again, I go through reviews about stuff like on Amazon, and I think you can usually tell what are like paid reviews or people working for the company as opposed to average folks like me and you when you read the reviews. And I look for those reviews that look like they're from real people and stuff like that. And I talk to people I know before I start taking supplements and stuff. See, Sean's saying you could look up flu symptoms, click on the wrong thing, and be convinced you have cancer. No shit. Yeah. Yeah, that's no bullshit there. For sure. I mean, there's just flu-like symptoms for damn near everything. So, yeah, you just click in a couple symptoms online, and the numbers it's going to pull up are just crazy. And how much of that is horseshit and how much of it is you know, factual. Yeah, I think you know, your thinking about looking at the .govs and .orgs and stuff probably cuts through you know, cuts off, you know, you got all this information, it probably cuts off, you know, most of this stuff is bullshit and gets you down to the more accurate stuff. But let's see. Sean says, well, the flu is no joke either, considering what happened last year. All right, you're going to have to refresh my mind, friend. Influenza in America or worldwide, or what are we talking here, Sean? Because I might have missed it. Okay, whoops, got interrupted there for a second. Sorry about that. Glad you hung on there. Okay, sorry, dude. What about flu? You still on there, Sean? Sorry, had a brief intermission that was not planned for. I know every year, you know, it's almost like the flu is like a storm that moves along and goes from this place to that place and then comes back and with like a different face on it. You know, it mutates and changes and becomes a different kind of animal. I know that. Speaking of animals, there's all kinds of animal named flus, aren't there? You know, swine flu, bird flu, all that shit. So, so if you commented, dude, it didn't pop up because your last comment is, well, the flu's no joke either, considering what happened last year. So if you commented, it's not up yet. Okay, here we go. Sean says, last year in the U.S., CDC estimated that 12 to 56,000 people died of the flu. Wow. That's a lot of people dying from the flu. Yeah, the flu really isn't a joke. Although it is something that, you know, that you get used to having it. But in reality, you're right. It kills people. It really does. So it's not fun to have either, is it? And I'll tell you, your chances of getting the flu, okay, if you are a kid and you go to schools, goes up. If you have kids in school, I'll tell you, you've got a great chance of getting the flu. Let's see. Sean says, I've even seen some sources have it up as high as 80,000 80,000 people. Now we're talking worldwide here, right? We're talking worldwide. 80,000. I mean, I imagine I couldn't see those kind of numbers for just Americans dying of the flu. Jeez. You know, and what the hell? I mean, it's like they have flu vaccines, but from my understanding of the vaccines are that when you get a flu vaccine, let's get very layman here because that's what I am. I am no medical expert at all. But let's call one flu strain. Okay, Sean says, no, I'm talking in the U.S. alone. You shitting me? I mean, that's crazy numbers. I mean, that's huge. Damn. I mean, if that's just America, then it's got me really rethinking the flu and the serious severity of it. Wow. But from my understanding, that the vaccine is a strain appropriate vaccine or strain specific kind of vaccine is my understanding of it. They don't have a vaccine that just vaccinates your ass against all types of flus, from my understanding. They, choose whatever the most popular flu on the block or they think is going to be the bad one this year, and they make a vaccine out of it. Correct me if I'm wrong here, anybody. God's sake, I'm not going to tell you I know everything about this, but that is my understanding. Okay, so let's say flu A looks like it is on the horizon to be, there's going to be a major outbreak of it. So they have a vaccine of flu A, and then they give that out, okay? Let's say they give it to me and you. And let's say they give you the vaccine, Sean. Then you've got the vaccine to flu A. So you're not going to get flu A. But then let's say your buddy has flu strain B, okay? And sneezes on your doorknob or some shit like that, and then you end up getting it because you're not vaccinated against that specific strain of the flu virus. That's my understanding of it. That's how I see it. Like I said, I could be wrong on this. I mean, do you know anything about this vaccination stuff? Yeah, and some people are totally against vaccinations, period. I'm against some vaccinations because there is some shit I want my body to end up dealing with naturally. Okay, and I don't want to end up, I want my immune system to be healthy. So, I'll admit I usually don't get flu vaccines. I don't know if that's bad or not a good idea or whatever. Let's see, Sean, it goes on to say, it reads, an estimated 80,000 Americans died of flu and its complications last winter, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. Well, damn. Well, okay, that's pretty specific there. That pretty much sums that up. 80,000 Americans died of flu and its complications last winter. Damn. Jeez. And the flu's a bitch in the wintertime. Especially around here, up in the north, man, it's no joke. When you get it and it's cold, your body's already weakened by that cold weather, I think, and it just makes it harder. Let's see. Sean says, I'm sorry, I had you misinformed. 12,000 was in 2011, and 56,000 was in 2012. Oh my gosh. Well, that's over 4 times as many. Shit. That's about, 4.5 times as many or whatever in 1 year? 1 year's difference? Man. Those are big numbers. That's that's and then the 80,000. When the hell was that? I mean, so it's like the numbers went up. So it's funny because we think, and not everybody, I'm sure, but there's a tendency to think that since medical technology has advanced so much, that less people are dying of common things like the flu. It's very easy to have that perception, but obviously it is still deadly if it has taken that many people. Damn, scary. Which that makes me think of a board game that I've never played, actually. That Pandemic game, I've never played that, and that, I guess, that game is about controlling some kind of disease outbreak, and is one of the most popular board games ever. And I have never played the damn thing, which is pretty sad because, I talk about board games from time to time. Sean says another contributing factor could be that people could get the flu and the cold mixed up and not get the treatment they need. Yeah, well, I mean, as far as treatment for the flu, I'll be honest about this. Mainly what I do is get rest and drink lots of fluids. And I just started, quit going to the hospital over it because, there have been so many times I'd been there, taking my kids there or whatever, and been basically said, go home, rest, drink lots of fluids, and wait for it to pass. So, I don't know, but now there's probably, medicines and stuff, and there's some Tamiflu or some shit like that to help you. Sean says, I had the flu last year, but thankfully did not die. Yeah, thankfully you didn't. Sean also says, there were people that died within days of catching it. Shit. Yeah, that's scary. Because it's kind of like when I was talking about colds, how colds, people say they got a little cold, but when you got that little cold, it doesn't feel so little, does it? Yeah, I don't know. I have not been to a doctor for years for the flu. Okay, I haven't. I've just tried to rest more, tried to drink more fluids. That's pretty much what I have done as far as dealing with the flu on my own. But I have not sought medical help for the flu for years. So, and that makes me wonder, talking about this, should I, the next time I have the flu, should I talk to a doctor about it, Like I said, I had that thinking that basically, okay, why go there? Because they just tell you go home, rest, drink lots of fluids, and you'll get over it eventually. It'll work its way through your system. So I quit going to doctors for it, because I'm like, I know what they're going to say. But then again, maybe these flu strains are getting tougher and worse, and maybe there's new medicine shit for treating it, and maybe I'm missing the boat here when I get sick. So, yeah, talk about this whole thing. Yeah, it's got me wondering. So, I mean, I have insurance, so yeah, I'm thinking next time I got the flu, I'm gonna take my ass to the doctor, get checked out. Maybe that's worth a look. Let's see, Sean, do you see a doctor when you got the flu, or do you just, work your way through it on your own, or do you go to a doctor? What do you do about it? And then there's the stuff that isn't even really the flu, too. Intestinal flu, that a lot of people call it, but it's not the flu. it's more like some kind of parasite that ends up in your intestines and stuff. It makes you sick as hell. Makes you poop your pants and want to puke. There's that stuff, but that isn't the flu in its true sense. There's that, I forget what it's called, Giardia or something, some stomach parasite, I think, is a big cause behind a lot of the stomach flu or intestinal flu. So, or Giardia, I think, maybe. But, let's see. Sean says it has been reported around 10 minutes ago the first death of the flu season has occurred. That's grim. All right, we're kicking off the new flu season. Jeez, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's scary, isn't it? Yeah. Let's see. Sean's saying it was in a North Carolina hospital. Yeah, so who knows how long it's going to take for it to work its way up to Ohio. And that's another thing about flu and sicknesses, communicable diseases and things like that, contagious stuff, is all it takes is a plane trip or long car drive for that stuff to be states away. Somebody in North Carolina hops a plane to Ohio, New York, or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's there too. So that's all it takes, just like that. This is a subject I'll admit, I don't spend a whole hell of a lot of time thinking about. Now, my one sister is a nurse, so this is probably something that's been on her mind a hell of a lot more than mine. But, something I haven't done lots of thinking about. And it's funny that I brought up that board game. Now I'm sort of interested in playing the game. I've never played Pandemic. That's the name of the game. I've never played that, but this kind of has me wanting to play it more because, like I said, I haven't tried the game ever. It's supposed to be an excellent game. Shit. Sean says most deaths that were reported last year were children and the elderly. That sucks, but I kind of figured that. I figured that was probably the ages. People with the weakest immune systems tend to be the children and the elderly. That's terrible. It's not good that anybody's dying from it, but wow. Let's see. Yeah, Sean, do you see a doctor when you get the flu? I mean, I'm curious. Do you see a doctor, or do you just ride that shit out, dude? What do you do? Because I already said I'm starting to rethink that stuff now that we're talking about. I'm starting to rethink whether my ass needs to go to a doctor next time I have it. Which could be tomorrow or next week. Okay, Sean says, yeah, I see one. Okay, well, with the philosophy of better safe than sorry, that's a good idea. But yeah, I'm really, so there you have it, right here on Wasted Lunch. I'm starting to think a little different about that. Because all I've ever done was, lots of fluids, lots of rest, and lots of fever and delirium. I hate fevers. I absolutely hate them. Hate fevers. That is the worst thing about the flus with me, I think. Well, I hate having the flu, period, but I hate the fever. But, anyways, yeah. How about Pandemic? You ever hear of that game or play it, Sean? as far as board games go, I mean, it's like a blockbuster board game. Came out quite a few, well, I don't know, 2000, I'm not even going to guess. Well, hell yeah, I'll guess anyways. 2012, I'll guess at that. Maybe it came out even earlier, I'm not sure. But it's supposed to be an excellent game. I've never played it, don't own it, but thought about getting it several times. Let's see, Sean says, I've played something like it on my tablet. Okay, you played a game where you were like trying to control an outbreak of diseases and stuff? You know, and that sound, I wonder if you talked about that one time. I can't recall. But, I don't know. I guess the theme never seemed that interesting to me. I guess the theme never grabbed me, you know? It's easier for a theme like fighting orcs or something like that, and dragons and that kind of stuff to grab my attention and make me want to play, as opposed to stopping a disease from spreading, I guess. The theme just didn't grab my attention that much, but I think I could really be missing the boat on not playing Pandemic. So maybe I need to get that someday and try that baby out. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking now. Let's see, Sean says, no, my game was you were the disease and you had to kill 90% of the world. Okay, oh shit. Alright, you know what, I don't know if it was you, Sean, was telling me that about this, or maybe one of my kids had that for their phone. I think maybe that was it. I think my kids might have had that for their phone, and that's where I heard of that before. That's pretty warped, isn't it? You're the disease. Wow. Had to kill 90% of the world. Scary shit, because, you know, even with all the technology and all this awesome stuff we have, the smartphones, the computers, the virtual reality, and all this stuff we got going, the disease could, you know, the right kind of disease could pretty much mess all that up, couldn't it? I mean, it could really clean our asses off the planet. The right one came along. It's scary shit, ain't it? It's pretty scary. Because, you know, I mean, that's one of them things, it doesn't matter if you have jet fighters and you know, Star Wars shit. You know, viruses are bad. Viruses are bad shit. Awful stuff. And we really got talking about a positive subject today, didn't we? And, but, jeez. Yeah. Pandemic, though. I think I need to try that damn game now. You know what I'll do? I don't have the loot to go out and buy that game anyways. But what I'll do before I do make any decision to buy that, what I'll do is what I usually do before buying something. I'm going to watch me a damn YouTube video. That's right. I'm going to watch me a YouTube video of the whole thing being played through and see if it sounds good to me. That's what I'm going to do. Sean says in the 70s, it was around 3,000 people dying of the flu. I wonder how it got so high, Sean says. I don't know. Well, population's gone up. And maybe the reports went up too. That probably has something to do with it. The reports that that was what caused it, has probably went up. You know, probably better keeping track of records has made those numbers go up. That's one factor I believe would have something to do with it. You know, it keeps track of so much stuff in hospitals now. It's not even funny. So that I would figure would have something to do with them. But you know, that's the thing, man. Viruses. Oh, damn. Viruses are smart. You know, they mutate, they change. Scary. Sean says in the 70s was a higher threat than the flu. Okay, just living in the 70s was a higher threat than the flu, you mean? Oh, syphilis. Syphilis was a higher threat than the flu, yeah. Yeah, ugh, syphilis. Ugh, talk about a nasty disease there. Ugh. Yeah. Let's see, syphilis. Ugh. That'd be a bad one to have. Of course, you know, I think what they do is they hit that with antibiotics now. They kill that shit off. That's a bacterial thing, I'm pretty sure. So, Al Capone had that. Did you know that? Yeah, Big Al had syphilis. A nasty disease. But, yeah, and now the bacterial infections, now they're getting antibiotic resistant, you know, which makes them a whole nother. So as Sean says, I'm trying to say STDs in general were probably more concerning considering the sexual revolution. Yeah. Yeah. I imagine there was some pretty big outbreaks of STDs going on around with all the free love happening. You probably got a point there. Yeah, I imagine people were getting some diseases all over the place with, you know, yeah, the sexual revolution. People started, you know, I mean, having sex more for a pastime than procreation, which, I mean, people have always done that, but, you know, I wonder what those days were like. I'm not talking just for the sexual aspect of it, but the 70s were a crazy time. In America, anyways. You know, crime was through the roof. Yeah, like you said, just the sexual revolution. Just, it was wild times, man. You know, just pick up a book and do some reading about it, man. Shit was crazy in the 70s in America. In the cities, you know. Let's see, Sean says, did you know Scarface was the nickname of Al Capone? Yep. Yes, I did. He had a big long scar down one of his cheeks. Yeah, Alfonso Capone there. Yeah, he's a character who, as a kid, I used to read a lot about when I was a kid. I had these cards, these square cards, and I don't know if they still make them anymore, but they used to make them about all different subjects, okay? They made them about people, they made them about animals, science, and stuff like that. They were these little cards, they were square, and I forget, you ordered them off a TV or something, and you get hundreds of them, and each one had information on one subject, and on the back of it, it'd have a big picture of whatever it was about on the front, and then on the back was a whole bunch of information crammed in there on the back of these cards. And Al Capone was on one of those, and seeing one of those cards is what got me interested in Al Capone when I was a kid. fact, I used to have an Al Capone t-shirt. Of course, this was as an adult, and it said Original Gangster above it. Sean says he died in 47 before my grandpa was born. Wow. Yeah, he was one of the original gangsters. But yeah, I had a cool shirt. It was a black t-shirt with all white printing. And it had Al Capone on it, and it said Original Gangster. It was a pretty cool shirt. I wore that for a long time. I wore that baby out. But time is 12:58. I gotta wrap it up. And which that's funny because we were just talking about STDs, and I said wrap it up, which is what people ought to do, I guess, to keep that ship from going overblown. But Sean says Al Capone, 1899 to 1947. Wow. The King of Chicago. Sean says, have a good day, Paul. Sean, you have a great day, too. Well, you know what's going on with me today, guys. I'm going to get busy on it. Hopefully, I'm going to get some production. Hopefully, I'm going to quit tripping over my tongue. Sean said Capone died of pneumonia. Yeah. That doesn't sound fun. But, yeah, you guys have a fantastic day. Anybody who's watched this. And, of course, Sean, thanks for participating. And I'm going to get off of here and hopefully get some stuff done and make today a productive day for myself. Hopefully you guys will do that as well. Till then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later. Bye.